When you go out and try to do anything outside the norm, and I'm talking anything outside the norm, you are going to be faced with negativity. You are going to have people misunderstand you. And because they misunderstand you and because you are doing something that they don't do, whether they agree with what you do or not is irrelevant. They're just not familiar with it, okay? And what do people do when they don't understand things? They usually attack them. They usually put negativity towards it. They usually project their own insecurities and their own reservations about what it is they are incapable of doing, and they put them on you. And so when you start out in business, or you start out on a weight loss journey, or you start out to be a better person, you are going to face negativity. And I don't give a shit what any of these frou-frou, fluffy guru motherfuckers out there tell you, okay? Everybody likes to pretend this is an ideal place. They like to think that everything's really gonna be nice, and it's gonna be easy, and it's gonna be this. And I just have a really hard time telling you guys that shit because it's not true. If you can become someone that can transfer negativity into productive action, you are literally unstoppable by outside circumstances and outside elements. The only person that can stop you when you're able to do this is you. And the way you stop you is you can burn yourself down, right? You can get too negative. You can get too hot. You can get too frustrated. So it's something that you need to learn how to pivot on, but also control in a productive way. You all have friends that tell you shit like, hey man, what do you think, you're too good for us now? Or, you know what, I don't think that's a good idea for you to do this. Or, you know what, you're too fucking fat to do this. Or you're too stupid, or you're too lazy, or you come from this, and these are your kind of people. You're not one of those kind of people. We always hear these things. We hear them from the people who love us the most and who are supposed to support us the most, and it hurts because of that. And it slows us down, and it makes us question ourselves, and it squashes our confidence. And for most people, it makes them give the fuck up. And I'm not with that. When people tell me shit that is negative, I take that energy, I take that frustration, I take that pain, and I go address whatever is causing the pain, because the reason it's causing pain for you is because it's true, all right? You have to acknowledge that. The reason people call you fat is because you're fucking fat. You're the one that thinks that that's mean. It's not mean, it's the truth, okay? So what do you do with the truth? You address the truth. And if you address the truth and you're able to be honest with yourself, which is a hard thing to do, right? None of us like being attacked. None of us like being told we're less than. None of us like, but the reason those things hurt is because inside we know they're true. It was true, all right? And that sucks, man. It sucks to let yourself go. It sucks to be broke. It sucks to not have shit going on. It sucks to be a loser. I've been all those things. But the difference is I was able to take the words that other people put on me and to go immediately take action towards the goals. So when you're able to use these things, guys, when you're able to use the negativity into productive action, you become someone who cannot be stopped. And like I mentioned earlier, you can only stop yourself by focusing too much on the negative.
So when they ask me, are leaders born? I know what they're not really asking, are they born? What they're really asking is, are there some people when they're born, they got it? And some people when they're born, they don't got it. And if you got it, you go to the front of the line. If you don't got it, you go to the back of the line. That's what they're asking. And I've got great news for you. And I do believe, I have no question about it, that there are some people that are born with what I call leadership leanings. No doubt about that. Just like some people are born with kind of a musical leaning. No doubt. But the great news is, because I've done this for so long and I've done this with so many over such a long period of time in every country of the world, what I know is you can learn to lead. You can learn to lead. You can learn to be a better leader than you are right now. If I'm a 5 as a leader, that means my organization will be what? Talk to me. A 4. Okay, here we go. Because the leadership lid won't allow it to go higher. So, how do I grow my organization? This is very simple, folks. I've got to raise my lid, don't I? I've got to get this lid up, and because I can become a better leader, I can raise my lid, true? So I can go from a 5 to a 6, to a 7, to an 8, to a 9. You see, your organization will grow to the size of your leadership ability. Now, if I were where you are and I was listening to what I just said, and I was taking notes, somewhere on my notes or somewhere on my iPad, I'd be putting a star right here. I'd be putting a rocket ship. I would be putting a sign that says, do not miss this. Because your ability to lead will determine how successful you'll be in this house, without any question. The whole concept, the whole idea that you can learn to lead, and if you learn to lead, and the better you learn to lead, the more successful you can become, and the greater your business. This is an absolute fact. It's not a theory, it's not a thought, it's not an idea, it's not a principle, it's a fact. And the law of the lid says, the better you learn to lead, the higher you lift that lid, the greater your business can become. Now, that's the law of the lid. How we view things determines how we do things. That's just an incredible principle. Now, each one of these I could preach 30 minutes on, but they won't let me do that. But how I view things determines exactly. So if I view things in a perspective of wanting to serve with excellence, guess what I'll do? I'll serve with excellence. If I view things in a very kind of a average way, then I'll put average into that endeavor. So how I view things is how I do things. Let me give you another perspective principle that's just huge too, and that is what you see is who you will be. And we see things not as they are, we see things as we are. That's why two people can be in the same situation, same experience, same place, and see things completely different than anyone else. So what is before you isn't what you see, who you are is what you see.
You're actually tougher than you think. You never knew that, and maybe you didn't want to take on the responsibility because, you know, people play a role in their own demise, so to speak. When you had opportunity to go out and explore or withdraw because you were afraid, you chose to withdraw because you were afraid. So it's not only that you were overprotected often, it's that you were willing to take advantage of the fact that you were overprotected and run back there whenever you had the opportunity. You know, so maybe you're a kid in the playground, right, and you're having some trouble with other kids, and you know in the back of your mind, I should deal with this myself, but you go and tell your mom and get her to intervene. And you know that that's not right. You know that you're breaking the social contract, but it's easier, and so that's what you do. You run off to an authority figure and hide behind the Great Father, right, roughly speaking. Well, the problem with that is you don't learn how to do it yourself. So then you have to relearn it painfully when you're 40. So then you take people out. You say, well, what are you afraid of? Rank it from 1 to 10. So 10 is, we'll make a list of 10 things you're afraid of. The thing you're least afraid of, we'll call number 10. So we'll start with that. Okay, well, I'm afraid of elevators. Okay, well, let's look at a picture of an elevator. Let's have you imagine being in an elevator. Let's go out to an elevator and let you watch the terrible jaws of death open, because that's how you're responding to it symbolically, right? And you're going to do that at the closest proximity you can manage. You find out, you go do that, and it works. You're nervous as hell, especially from an anticipatory perspective. Shaking. You go out, you stop, you watch it happen, and you actually calm down. You do that 10 times and it no longer bothers you. Well, what you've learned that you didn't die, but more importantly than that, you've learned that you could withstand the threat of death. That's what you've learned. And then you move a little closer, and then you move a little closer, and then you move a little closer, and finally you're back in what's no longer the elevator from a symbolic perspective. It's a tomb, right? It's a place of enclosure and isolation. And you learn, turns out I can withstand that. And then you're much more together, much more confident. And that's often one of the things that often happens in situations like that. I've seen this multiple times, is that if you run someone through an exposure training process like that and toughen them up, they'll often start standing up to people around them in a way they never did before. If you concentrate solely on your career, you can get a long way in your career. And I would say that that's a strategy that a minority of men preferentially do. That's all they do. They work like 70, 80 hours a week. They go flat out on their career. They're staking everything on the small probability of exceptional status in a narrow domain. But it's hard on them. They don't have a life. It's very difficult for them to have a family. They don't know how to take any leisure activity. Like, they get very one-dimensional. Now, it may be that unidimensionality is the price you have to pay to be exceptional at one thing, right? Because if you're going to be something like a genius-level mathematician, and you want to do that or a scientist, say, it's like, you're in your lab all the time, you're working 70 hours a week or 80 hours a week, you're smart, you're dedicated, you're unidimensional, and that's how you get to beat all the other people who are doing that. It's the only way. But the problem is you don't get a life. Now, if you love being a scientist and you have that kind of focus of mind, well, first of all, you're a rare person, and second, you're going to pay for it. But fine, more power to you. But it's a risky business to do that. You sacrifice a lot for it. You know, and I would say most often, if you're speaking about having a healthy life, that isn't what you do. You spread yourself out more. So, you know, you have a family, You have some things that you do outside of work that are meaningful to you and useful. You have a network of friends. Well, those 3 things alone, or 4 things alone, are plenty to keep you well oriented. And then if one of those things collapses, you know, everything doesn't go.
Now listen to me. What I'm going to share with you took me years to really understand it. But if you can wrap your mind around it, you can grasp this concept and master it in 3 days. Like you said, if you're a little slow, if you need a little extra convincing is what I mean by that, then probably a couple. And then the rest of you just won't get this at all. And I understand that. Here's the thing that took me a long time to wrap my mind around. It is the concept of gratitude. If you can become extremely grateful and thankful for what you have, you then open up the lanes for you to receive more. But your lack of gratitude sometimes causes the blessings that could flow our way to be blocked. Why would God give you some more stuff for you then not to be grateful, thankful, and appreciative of? Well, it does not make any sense. It goes against him. It goes against the law of attraction. It goes against everything that makes sense. You cannot push away something and attract it. It don't work. You either pushing or you pulling. You either giving or you receiving. Which one you doing here? You either running your mouth or you quiet. Man, why would God give you some more stuff to not be grateful for? Have you ever just looked at it that way? Maybe you don't have any more than you have because you're not really thankful and appreciative or show gratitude for what you have had or what you do have. Now, you're sitting out there saying, okay, well, how do you do that, Steve, when you don't have all you want? Just take a paper and pencil out. Just start writing down everything you have to be grateful for. Whatever it is. Your health, you can walk, you can still see. You have a car, may not be the one you want. I have a place to live. I ate today. I see a way that I can eat tomorrow. I got a friend that I can call and share my troubles with. And just be real detailed with it. After you've done that, here's what I want you to do. I want you to read this list every morning you wake up of everything you're grateful for. After you've thanked him for all this stuff, I want you to take another piece of paper. I want you to write on this piece of paper everything you want. Everything you want. Now what he gonna do is he gonna tie them 2 lists together. So now since you're showing me all this gratitude for what I've already done for you, remember I said the more grateful you are, the more stuff he'll give you to be grateful for? He gonna take this other list you got and he gonna start putting it on this side. Listen to me, I have no other explanation for my life. I do it every single day. And you know what he does? Slowly but surely, he takes this list and he starts taking items and putting it on the grateful list. He has done it for me like that for years and years and years. He did it for me without education. He did it for me when I lost my mom and daddy, my brother, my best friend. He did it for me when they canceled my TV shows. He keeps taking stuff off my want list and putting it on my grateful for list. If you do them things right there, you'll change your whole life. Man, this thing is not a magic trick. It's a mental adjustment that we have to make. Everybody got something to be grateful for. But if you in that old woe is me mindset, the oh Lord, I just can't seem to get it together, and these bills keep coming. Yeah, they keep coming because you keep attracting them. Lord, I'm so sick of this debt. Lord, help me get out of debt. Well, you just attracted some more debt to get out of. You keep speaking stuff out into space in the universe, and you keep speaking stuff into existence in your life. I can't ever seem to find all men is dogs. Well, here come another one. I can't find nobody to treat me right. Here come another one that ain't gonna treat you right. When you gonna change the way you think? When will we change the way we put out what we put out into space. I'm sorry, man. This ain't Steve, coming up with, no, this why you over here. You are where you are because you thought yourself there. You thought yourself there. You attracted things to you.
You concentrate on what you have, you will always end up having more, even if it's just $2. If you focus on what you don't have, you will never, ever, ever have enough. So 16 years ago, I started a gratitude journal, and I will have to say, it was the single most important thing I believe I've ever done. So every day, for years now, I've written down 5 things to be grateful for. And you have to write them down. It's very different than just saying, oh, I'm grateful for today. You have to physically write them down because there's power in the words. Even simple things like fresh flowers or somebody holding the door open for me. So when you wake up in the morning and you consciously look for things to be thankful for, what happens is if you go through the day thinking about the 5 things that you're going to do in the evening, you are more alive and receptive to the goodness that comes in your life. Because sometimes it is as simple as somebody holding the door. So when you allow yourself to feel gratitude in the present moment, in the now, what I promise you is that the spiritual dimension of your life begins to change. It opens up, it expands, and you just grow with it. That is the truth. If I ever spoke the truth in my life, if you want to change your state of being, start to be grateful.
When you thank God after something happens, that's called gratitude. When you thank God for something before it happens, that's called faith. The highest form of faith is thanking God in advance before you get the answer. But while you make the request, what do you do while you're waiting? You thank God. You say, God, you know that request I made the other day? I thank you that the answer is already on its way. It's not here yet, but I thank you that the answer is already on its way. And you just keep thanking and thanking. That is the highest form of faith. You don't keep saying, please give it, please give it, please give it, please give it, please give it. You say, God, here's what I need. Now thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That is faith, thanking God in advance.
Say thank you in advance for what's already yours. It's how I live my life. That's why I am, one of the reasons why I am today. Say thank you in advance for what is already yours. True desire in the heart for anything good is God's proof to you sent beforehand to indicate that it's yours already.
The moment you start showing God more gratitude, he'll give you more stuff. What he do is, he's not gonna keep giving you stuff if what you got you can't handle already. You kill more blessings by not being grateful. That's the #1 blessing blocker, lack of gratitude.
I think you should quit chasing the paycheck and start chasing the passion. I think you should quit craving the approval of others and start defining what you are about. Even though those moments may feel challenging, like the moment is just too big, like you're not enough to handle it, that's not true. You are able to overcome that, but it's going to take effort.
And you can achieve anything that you want. The fear of what people think about you, worrying, what other people think, negativity, it won't matter. It won't be the main thing that holds you back. You will break through that and you can achieve anything you want.
I think you should quit negativity and start having gratitude for whatever stage of life you're currently in and whatever happens to you. I think you should quit caring about what other people think and start living your version of life. I think you should quit being a watered down version of someone else when you can be the full version of who you are.
The antidote to haters is confidence. And one of the ways we build confidence is surrounding ourselves with the right people and by having the right mentors who have already succeeded and can help us overcome negative people, mental health challenges, and any adversity that we face.
Failure is necessary to be able to improve. Failure is necessary to be able to excel. If you aren't willing to fail, you are not going to succeed.
If you love yourself, then you're going to get in the mirror and you're going to face the adversity. Face the conflict. Embrace rather than avoid challenges. And you don't give up on yourself. Do not give up on yourself. When you find yourself criticizing yourself negatively, comparing yourself to others, try to find inspiration in their successes and strengths instead of feeling threatened.
If you don't become obsessed with creating your ideal life, it will slip away. You will lose sight. You can't let that happen. You need to make your life a priority.
Even at your darkest time, you're destined for something greater. Let me say that again. Even at your darkest time, you're destined for something greater.
Confident people know that your imperfections are what actually allow you to be confident. They will be the determining factor in your ability to feel confident and your ability to have confidence be a part of your life.
It is self-compassion that gives us the power to face our failures, to face our fears, to face our insecurities, to face what we don't like about ourselves and come out on top.
The bottom line is the world is yours.
I don't think confidence is something that you are born with. It's a skill set. And I had no confidence. So confidence is something I taught myself over the years. I started becoming okay with who I am. I became the best version of me. And then I sort of said, I'm okay, I'm all right. Even if someone else thinks this, I'm okay. And everyone can do that. People just don't realize it. So it made me understand that confidence truly is the key to getting ahead in life. If you believe in yourself, the world will believe in you. Because perception is reality.
As soon as I started doing everything that I loved, there was a surge of power, a surge of confidence. I wasn't insecure anymore because the emotion that had the most dominance in my thought process was actually being paid attention to.
I'm really sick of being insecure. I believe I'm enough, and I believe that everything I have that I need for life to make all my dreams come true, I know it's already inside of me.
It's who you are and being comfortable with who you are that influences other people to say, oh, okay, maybe I could do that. You can't wait for destiny. No one can be that. You can't be like, oh, destiny's going to knock on my door one day. No, it won't. You have to be able to recognize opportunities. Because there'll be a lot of them that come into your life. And once you recognize an opportunity, you have to seize the day and work bloody hard because there'll be 25 other people who want to do it.
The first step is belief, right? People think the belief comes once you've done it. You won't even take the first step if you don't believe that you can accomplish it. So we lead with belief as a species. So you have to find a way to believe in it to move. So your mom is giving you an awesome challenge. Can you believe in the face of her doubt, right? And to me, when people doubt me, it's a gift. I love that because I believe in beauty and rage. And you need both. I need people to love me. I need to want beautiful things for myself and for others. I want to create something amazing. I want to help a lot of people. I also want to prove a lot of people wrong who don't think that I can do this. I want to crush the enemies that want to see me fail, that want to do anything they can to ensure that I fail.
The reason if you fire everybody, you might be the problem is, and I have no idea, but like one of the theories or the things that I've seen is that it means that you're not willing to be accountable. When I fire somebody, earlier I said firing, that was my fault. I hired them. When we lose a client because of the head of strategy or creative or media, that's my fault. I empower them. Once you take on full accountability, life gets awesome. Once you realize everything is your fault and you're in control, you know why everybody's so upset? They think somebody has control over them. I don't give a shit who the mayor, who the governor, who the president is. I'm gonna live. It's real facts. And by the way, if you don't like it, move to Sweden. Like, you're in control. I think that's, my parents, and I'm not sure that's a Soviet thing. That was my parents, but I
believe it is. They just, all the emotions go out and it's get the job done.
Yeah, dude, when you have context where like you had to stay in line for bread, there are people who complain every day and like just complain, but are buying $7 coffees at Starbucks. Like, do you know how soft you are when you buy $7 coffee? I went on one family vacation in my life growing up. I worked every day from 14 years old, every weekend, every single summer day. I have no entitlement. I built a $65 million business for my mom and dad and left at 34 years old with no money because I didn't pay myself anything while I was building it. So when these kids are talking about being sad and want to be somebody, I was 34 years old and built a $65 million business. I built it, right? And I left with nothing and started over at 34. Zero. I started VaynerMedia in the conference room of Buddy Media's company because I had no money to pay for our own rent. I lack entitlement. It's my strength. I took that from them.
Dwelling and pondering and crying doesn't do shit, and it especially doesn't do shit in this echo chamber. In this arena, there is no crying. You can cry, you're just gonna lose. And I have bad news about complaining and crying. Let me tell you something about complaining and crying that's really, really gonna hurt for all you complainers out there. Nobody gives a shit. And let me give you a preview who gives a shit. The following people give a shit when you complain. The other losers around you, your sick, broken parent that secretly wants to hold you down so that you're not more successful than them. And let me remind you one more time, the other fucking losers around you. We have to start deploying self-awareness. If you leave here and start your process of really knowing what makes you happy, of who are you really, if you could stop chipping away the voices from the outside, if you can start figuring out what you're scared of, if you want to actually do something, even in the light of the picture that I'm painting right now, who are you scared to fail in front of? The reason so many of you are not doing what you want to do is you're scared to fail in some. You're scared that your brother will judge you, your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, and most scary, your mom or your dad. You need to eliminate that and/or own that fear and put yourself in a position to succeed. Because with all of this, we are now in the greatest era. For the first time ever, with no fucking money, with no goddamn connections, this can put you on the map. If you're good enough, if you are good enough to be up here, to make bling bling, if you are good enough, nobody's stopping you. Not fucking Donald Trump, not the fucking Russians, nobody.
If you're building a small life on what you have, what God has given you, you're made in the likeness and image of God, and you've been given authority and dominion over everything over the face of the earth, you can build a new life. You can fit a new life, an expanded life, in a small mind. You have something special. You have greatness in you. Visualize the life that you want to create. Make the commitment, make up your mind to make a radical change in your behavior, knowing you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Look at your relationships and ask the question, what kind of person am I becoming because of this relationship? What is it doing to me? Am I growing mentally and emotionally and spiritually and financially? What is this relationship doing to me? Am I a better person because of this relationship? Does this person hold me accountable to a higher standard? Do they bring the best out of me?
You cannot surround yourself with blindness and expect to see. You cannot run with packs of angry women and expect to be happy and fulfilled. You cannot hang out with a bunch of defeated, going nowhere, no vision men and be an overcomer. You are who you hang around.
Don't save that last bullet for yourself. You lock and load that last bullet and you shoot it at your enemy. And you keep fighting no matter what. And you never quit. And if you feel like your life is in a place where you can't get any lower, good. Because that means the ultimate challenge is ahead of you. It means you can only go up.
I'm telling you, it's possible to be weak. It's possible to feel overwhelmed. It's possible to feel discouraged. It's possible to be going through something that you've never gone through. And if you were to be honest, would say, I am weak this day, yet I'm still anointed king.
program your mind. Because all that you will do or not do, have or not have, accomplish or not accomplish, will be a direct derivative of what's going on inside of your mind. It's about mentality, getting the right man. I thought as a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. You will never win a battle if you're having a heart experience in a head fight. You're telling the enemy how you feel has nothing to do with what you know. And if you're going to deal with a knower, never approach a knower with feelings. You got to approach a knower with facts. Real decisions that move your life along are not coming out of your emotions, they're coming out of your head.
But I believe that if you reach a certain age, and if you really haven't achieved very much in your own terms, I don't think you can ascribe this to bad luck or a difficult childhood or any other external factor. I personally feel that your strength of character does come into question at that point. Your definition of success may be different from the next person. I'm not implying that you need to have a fat bank account or a Rolls Royce to be successful. But if having those things is integral to your definition of success, then that's what you should be aiming for.
When it feels like you've taken steps backwards, don't live life defeated. Stay in faith. You may not realize it, but you're in a good position. You're being pruned, not so you can stay there. No, you're being pruned so you can go to a new level, so you can see new growth and experience new opportunities and discover new potential.
It's time for you to dig up all those seeds of doubt, all those seeds of lies. And at this moment, replace those seeds with seeds of faith. And how you do that is just simply this. How you fight your depression is just simply this. You tell yourself, yeah, I'm going through this, but at least I'm not dead. Find a way to find appreciation. Somebody has it worse. Somebody wants your life. Somebody's praying to be in your shoes, and you're still here. So I want you to keep fighting. You find any reason to survive right now, to make it to see tomorrow.
There's greatness in you. Say it as many times as you have to. It can even start as a whisper. There's greatness in you. But keep repeating it, because the mindset works best with consistency. Even when it hurts, even when it's hard. Keep moving forward. Keep doing what you need to do. Keep believing in yourself.
God is not trying to destroy you. He's trying to develop you. And he can't develop you until he brings you through something. I'm stronger because of what I've been through. I can take a lot now because of what I've been through. My enemies can't get the best of me now because you don't know what I've been through. We let people control us. We let attitudes control us. We let substances control us. We are in bondage to stuff that we have no business being bound by.
Because every time you break, and in every way that you break, it's a chance. It's definitely a chance for you to give up and for you to just to fall apart. But there's also opportunity. There's opportunity to get stronger and get more resilient and get better.
Sooner or later, you're going to end up with just you and God and your pain. And you're going to be the one that's going to have to decide if you're going to go through or if you're going to give up.
How bad do you want what God has put in your heart? Bad enough to outlast the opposition? Bad enough to do the right thing when the wrong thing is happening? Do you want it bad enough to keep pursuing even when circumstances say it's not going to happen? Many of the difficulties we face, that's simply a test.
When you know what you want, and you want it badly enough, you will find ways to get it. The solutions, the answers, the methods will become evident to you. What drives us to find the answers is necessity. So work on your reasons first, answers second. Now, what are some of the reasons for doing well?
I'm sure that if you did a little soul searching, you could come up with a fairly strong list of reasons why you want to accomplish great things. There are personal reasons, sometimes uniquely personal reasons. Some do well because of the way it makes them feel. Some people do well for the recognition. They love the feeling of being a winner. That's one of the best reasons. I have some millionaire friends who keep working 10 to 12 hours a day, making more millions. And it's not because they need the money. It's because of the joy, pleasure, and satisfaction that come to them from being constant winners. It's not the money, it's the journey.
I just want to tell you, don't let this chapter that you're going through make you in your story. Don't let depression lie to you and tell you that you're not enough, that tells you that there's no more better days, that tells you that your best days are behind you, that tells you you're a nobody. Don't let it lie to you, because it's been lying to you so long that you're starting to believe that's true. You're starting to live that out.
We have systems of survival built around what will not go away. If we could heal it, we would leave it. But since we can't heal it, we make it nice and comfortable and fix it up and say we like it. Nobody likes to be mugged. Nobody likes being broke. Nobody likes being lonely. Nobody likes negativity, but if you're not careful, you will build a system around something that you have lost the faith that it could change.
And a lot of times, by the time people really get down to seeing who you really are, they run from you. What we really want is for somebody to love us for who we are. And what we really want is to have the kind of intimate relationship with them that allows us the freedom of not needing to camouflage who we are, what we think, how we speak, and how we understand. Without that freedom, we begin to be actors acting out a role in the house for which we eventually become weary of, and we break out of the role because we want to be free to be ourselves.
Yet what I'm learning more and more in life is that it's fear that causes anxiety. The other side of the coin from depression is always anxiety. Anxiety has this ability to stretch your soul thin and you feel out of control. Depression, on the other hand, is when you feel like your life is being constricted inward and darkness is enveloping over you. Typically, if you have any level of anxiety, depression will follow. If you have depression, anxiety is right around the corner. Having anxiety and depression is like being scared and tired at the same time. It's the fear of failure, but no urge to be productive. It's wanting to be alone, but not wanting to be lonely. It's wanting friends, but hate socializing. It's feeling everything at once, then feeling paralyzing numb.
It's not about doing the occasional big things. It's about doing the consistent, small things.
It works if you work it. Decide that you're going to start working on that dream. Now, there will be people that will criticize you. There will be people that won't see it for you. I say to you, don't let them turn you around. Don't let nobody turn you around. That's key, because people will try and turn you around. That's real. Every hero you guys had was called an idiot, crazy, a loser. You must break society's status quo. Status quo is normality. It's alive but not living. It's death on a stick, guys. The belief of the individual can overcome thousands of followers. One person with a belief overrides thousands of people with just intent.
Can actually change the direction of your life. Life is not designed where you just wake up and see how it go and you react. You actually have a say-so. You have a determining voice into where your life can go. See, life is 10% what happens to you. It's 90% what you do about it. See, you get tripped out because you got dirt on you, but you need dirt on you to develop, because dirt ain't just dirt. Dirt is fertilizer. Dirt gives you the flip for your seed to push through. See, you gotta have dirt on you to push through something.
Safety, comfort zones are dead zones, because your true potential will never be matched, guys.
See, you get mad when haters come your way. You get mad because you get a setback. You get mad because you get a detour. That's just dirt. You get mad because they talking about you. That's dirt. You got to have dirt on you to grow into what God got for you. Quit tripping.
Be ready for tomorrow by doing all that you can today. Set a goal that will make you stretch, or what it will make of you to achieve it. What an all-encompassing challenge to have a better vision of the future, to see what it will make of you to achieve it. The greatest value in life is not what you get. The greatest value in life is what you become. It's not what you get that makes you valuable. It's what you become that makes you valuable. Set the kind of goals that will make something of you to achieve them. So there you have the two components of positive self-direction. Self-knowledge, knowing who you are and what you want to do with your life. And number two, self-preparation, getting ready for the opportunities before they come your way, becoming the person you need to be in pursuit of what you want. I've already said that in my opinion you need a strong character to make money, and that if you haven't made money, your character very likely needs work. But I also want to stress my belief that it takes character to achieve success in any form, whether it's in the business world or anywhere else. There are some people who just aren't interested in making a lot of money. I'm not one of them, but I can see their point of view. For these people, achievement is measured in terms that aren't so easily quantified. You've probably come across many people who provide a very different kind of example. People who really let the air out of the balloon. This tends to happen more often as individuals move into middle age. You can recognize them on the street, moving at a snail's pace. They walk along with their head down. When I talk about developing character, these people don't know where to begin. As they see it, it's pretty hard to focus on character when you've got credit card payments to make and 100 other things to worry about. Well, here's my opinion. If these people had given a bit more thought to building a strong character over the years, maybe their credit card payments would be a little more manageable. According to Aristotle, 52 is the age at which a man's philosophy is fully formed. As long as you recognize it and do something about it. And you don't need volumes of books or the library in order to create a personal philosophy that will help you to achieve your goals. You can do that anywhere.
Life's just never done with you. Knowing that every day you get up, you have a choice. You get to choose if you're going to make the right decisions, or you get to choose if you're going to make the wrong ones. And every day you wake up, you get to take the test, and you get to see how you do. When you realize your game is bigger than just you, that's where the power's at, to lead. So be the best leader you can be for yourself and for the people that you care about.
That drive and that attitude of never quit, it's a powerful force, and it does push you over the edge to victory in many cases. But over that attitude, you have to layer something on top of that. Strategic vision and understanding of the battlefield as a whole. So you absolutely need to know when you got to stop beating your head against the wall. You've got to know that.
Discipline is defined as self-imposed standards for the sake of a higher goal. All leaders have to have the quality of self-discipline. You are not a leader if you are not self-disciplined. A leader doesn't need much discipline from the outside. They self-impose discipline on themselves. And that is what we call self-discipline.
Character is the means for transforming ideas into achievements. It's somewhat abstract in the sense that you can't lay your hand on it or weigh it on a scale or point to it, but in a very real sense, character is what allows you to get where you want to go. If you want to drive from your home to a store on the other side of town, you'll need an automobile with gas in the tank, and you'll need keys to start the car. You can't lay your hand on any of those things, and you can't measure them with a yardstick, but they're as important to reaching your destination as the car or the gas or the keys to start the engine. They are analogs of character.
Anxiety, it makes us feel out of control, and we're trying to put things in order. And so often the very thing that we're afraid of, it's not even as bad as fear itself. Fear is always false evidence appearing real. And when you abide in fear, you're going to always be running for your life. That's why we focus on our faith, because our faith always leads us to life and life more abundantly.
There are ways of objectively evaluating your achievements. Most people don't take advantage of them as often as they should, but they're available nonetheless. For example, hire an appraiser in order to learn the market value of your house. You can put together a financial statement in order to determine your net worth. You can compare where you were 10 years ago to where you are now in order to determine the degree of progress you've made in your life. Achievement depends on character in the same way that a successful drive to the grocery store depends on knowing when to apply the brakes and when to step on the gas. But how can you know if your character is in good enough shape to get you where you want to go? To continue the metaphor we've been using, there are ways of discovering whether you still know how to drive without having an accident. I believe there are ways of evaluating the strength of your character that are almost as clear as the depth of tread on a tire or the amount of gasoline in the tank of an automobile. In order to use these techniques for character evaluation, all you need is a commitment to be ruthlessly honest with yourself. At first, that kind of ruthless honesty may include a little bit of pain, but once you accept the fact that character is basic to achievement, you'll gladly pay the price.
Because there are some things in your life that you are not ready to turn loose. There are some sins you're not ready to get rid of. There are some issues and some hang-ups that is stunting your spiritual growth. You can't be all God wants you to be with some stuff you're still hiding.
As you're working to break out of old behavior patterns, as you're struggling to achieve your goals and to overcome the obstacles that will inevitably befall you, I'm in favor of using any means necessary to make progress, as long as it's legal and ethical. If you want to motivate yourself with anger, and many people do this, I say go with whatever works. If you feel you've been wronged at various points in your career, and you look forward to gaining sweet revenge once you reach the top, I say whatever gets you going.